What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man, and bringing you guys my top 5 battles I am most excited for from the TBL Apollo card, and that is because during halftime of the Super Bowl yesterday, TBL did drop the full Apollo card, man, 20 battles, and I'm going to do so much content over the next few months on this. I'm going to be appearing on 3 Letterman Show later, PSA Reloaded, man. Me, him, and Lang are going to do our in-depth breakdown of the card. Probably just going to get a bunch of different people's opinions. You'll see me in a few different places talking about this card. And of course, here on the channel, I'm going to wait a little bit for the predictions video. We have a long way to get there. There's a lot of battles to talk about. That is definitely going to be a humongous video when that comes out. So I figured I'd highlight what I'm the most excited for. This is going to be a mixture of battles that have already been announced, as well as a mixture of battles that just came out with the card. You know what I'm saying? So we have a couple honorable mentions too, but we are going to stick to the top 5 to tell you directly where my attention is. Before we get in the video, I also want to say shout out to all my Eagles fans out there. My girl is an Eagles fan, so I was out there celebrating with her and her family as they experienced the victory. My household got a Celtics title, and then it also ended up getting an Eagles Super Bowl later. So it's just a title. Tavern up in this motherfucker, man. A lot of winning going on. But just had to pop my shit a little bit real quick. With that being said, let's get into the battles that I think are best from the Apollo card. So a couple battles that don't make the top 5, like I said, but they were revealed with the card. I just want to talk about them for a quick second. Is JC versus Madflix. This is a writers battle. This is Pen Patrol, as I call it. This is a Pen Patrol battle for my people out there that are super into the details. Of course, it's great to see JC on this card. And then you have Madflex, who always particularly, underrated battler, and then particularly versus the writers, tries to bring his best out. That's where he has the most pride in his game, and I think you look at him versus Jay the Nightwing on Blackout 8, ended up being one of the best battles on that card, one of the best battles of the year. And then you also have a Madflex versus Holmesy, which happened recently, which is a pretty good sleeper on eye battle, where once again, he's facing a pen, kind of brings one of the better versions of himself. And then you have JC, one of the absolute best pens ever. So for my extremely in-detailed writing people, and I believe this is going to be 2 minutes, 2:15 hard cutoff is what Chilla Jones said for the rounds, and this is a battle where these guys can definitely get their point across and get their skills across within that time frame. I think it's going to be one of the better battles of the card. Not one of the best, technically, but one of the better battles of the card. And then also Official versus Chirac. They went back and forth on Twitter a little bit. I think everyone that saw that little exchange knew immediately somebody was going to pick that battle up. It's Official, the legend, the unquestionable side of the battle, right? And then you have Chirac, who's really stacked up the resume, stacked up the performances over the last few years. And it also has, I'm interested not just because it's a good battle, but because Chirac went from a crazy 2023 to what I thought was a pretty disappointing, impactful, but disappointing 2024. She got into her choking bag heavy, and that was kind of what this all started was Official saying, how are you going to complain about not making lists and doing certain things when all you've been doing is choking? This is a great time to, even though you have been inconsistent, shut up a legend that's been calling you out for it, right? So kind of looking for Chirac to be clean, be great, and give something kind of like her Yoshi G performance, like on Mass 6, which ended up being a very standout showing. I just think it's 2 battles that aren't necessarily my top 5, most impactful, I think will be the best, but I'm super enjoying both of those being booked, and they will have my attention when they get on stage. So going into those top 5 battles, particularly that I'm focused on, first one is going to be based with a new guy, right? There's a few new stars in this card, but I think the matchup that sticks out the most is Eunice versus Pass. I like this matchup for a lot of different reasons. One, we have so much new star talk. We know what Eunice means, might be, front running type of guy within those new talents. So you want to see him on the card and getting that chance to, who knows, that this could be the top tier year for him. But it's not for a fact he has to go and earn that, but he's already been competing and doing some of the right things, and I'm assuming he's going to have a plethora of big opponents this year. I think Pass is a super interesting style clash for him, and a West Coast legend, so very worthwhile name-wise, but, he's faced a litany of writers and punchers, even performers, right? Miss Hustle is a performer, JC and Nitty when it comes to writers, punchers, Nitty being just one of the flat-out best in the world. Holmesy's faced an angler. He's faced more of an aggression, straight puncher in franchise. But with Pass, he just goes about battle rap in a different way. They call him a rapper's rapper for a reason. He really is going to, if he's going to win a battle, and not saying that he doesn't attack his opponent, there's a mixture of angles and punches, all types of wordplay in there, but it's the flow. It's the straight rapping that really makes him the style that he is. At times, he beats people just off of his syllable structure and his rhyme pockets, multisyllabics, things of that nature. So I think it's a bit of a different style for Eunice to go against, and you should test yourself against different guys from different legends from different regions, different types of styles. Like, that's what you want to see, and that's what's going to make you a better battle rapper. I think it's a bit of an advantageous matchup for Eunice as well, but Pass is beating the likes of the Ill Wills, the JCs, and so many more. So very interesting matchup to me because of the style clash. I think both of them are great additions to the card as names as well, so it's definitely one I'm looking forward to. Then after that, a battle that I talked about it getting announced in a video a little bit ago, but I think is incredible booking. And TBL's booked a lot of big battles, but there's battles that everyone wants and it gets booked, and that's a big splash. And then there's also battles that people didn't know they needed, and you book them and they're like, that's really incredible for the booker's mind to go that way. And that is Jay the Nightwing versus Ill Will. I love this battle. And I could understand some people being a bit skeptical because of Ill Will's recent form as he ended the year. But I actually think Will's been, while it's been like a step back, I still think he's been good, right? Going back to last year, we had the Aver battle, which was great. Obviously, the easy battle, he got killed. But I thought he was a little better versus Bill than people gave him credit for. And even though he lost to Sharon, I think he is good in that battle versus Sharon, right? So now you get Jay the Nightwing, whose last 4 battles, right? Mad Flex, incredible. Geechee Gotti, incredible. Real Deal battle, incredible. And then the Sheet Happens battle, incredible. So he's kind of spaced out the bookings, but you always got worried about Jay because even though he was talented, he was very vocal about losing motivation, not liking the way the game worked. But now he's getting a variety of different legends, plates, and even like a Sheet Happens, who's not a legend. He's just another really good battle rapper, and he's looked so motivated and so good across 3 rounds. He's talking about having a Cody run this year. That's what a lot of battle rappers say before they start doing good things, especially in what is going to be the last year of Champion of the Year, right? So I think Jay is locked in, and I think that Will has been good, and this is the type of matchup that will motivate him as well, because I think that it's an interesting style with Jay the Nightwing. It's a different, he's a breath of fresh air to battle rap, and I think that also invokes the creativity from his opponents. Plus, like most battles I'm hearing about in this card, most of them were booked in 2024, if not a few months before the end of 2024. So we're talking possibly 3 months prep at the least, maybe 6 months prep at the most. That's what you need for battlers to be great more than anything is prep time. Simple as that. These guys have months and months to write. More times than not, they're going to be fantastic. I love the booking of Jay versus Ill Will. I love the way their styles are going to go against each other. They can both do everything. Perform, jokes, punches, kind of an introspective bag, angle, you know what I mean? They're just 2 extremely creative battlers, and that's why I think it's going to be one of the most creative and best battles on the card. And then you get into what is going to be like the ticket sellers, the main events, and battles I've all talked about, but this is kind of my ranking of why I think they're the best on the card. And at number 3, and many people are going to debate this could be number 1. You could debate it for all 3 battles, but we are going to talk about New Jersey Twerk versus A-Ward. Love it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, any of these 3 battles I'm going to mention here, all like different level of matchup announcements. And with Twerk and Ward, there's a lot of interesting things. First of all, these are 2 of the best active top-tier battle rappers in the world right now. You have one of the faces and stars of URL versus one of the faces and stars of not being on URL in a sense, right? It's a grudge match, but like from a competitive aspect, in my opinion. It's not like these guys got real problems with each other, but it goes back a little bit to when Twerk battled Loso, right? And when it was that Civil War 1 or 2, I believe it was Civil War 1, and he won that battle very clear, and he shoved A-Ward on stage, right? At one point, Twerk was gonna be A-Ward's debut on URL. He was gonna battle him for free, actually, too, back when it seemed like we were closer to Ward debuting over there. And that was going to be his first battle there. It's a battle that he's wanted. They go back and forth on Twitter whenever they're mentioned. And I like that there's always going to be a Christian dialogue in an A-Ward battle. Best battler out of the Horseman group, right? And it's always brought up. But with Twerk, I think it's interesting because, religion and Christianity is a big part of Twerk's upbringing. I believe his mother is a preacher. He's spoken on this multiple times. And even in the Loso battle, he kind of hinted at themes of that nature, but I think he'd have to take it up another level for Ward, who I do believe is a bit of a better battle rapper than Loso. And then prep time is going to make this, I think, the best version of the battle that we could ask for. You're going to hear me saying this about a bunch of these battles, but of course, that's what matters. Months and months of getting to write for each other after years of kind of building up the battle with each other. I think it could be competitive in this setting too. They're saying about in Houston, which of course I love. I think Houston crowd is going to add so much to this event. I'm hearing about maybe 400 or 500 people in the building, so not a super big stage, because I'm going to be honest, once you get towards like 1,000 people, it's hard to bet against Twerk in any city ever. Once he's just really good with that amount of people in the building. 500 leaves that door open, I think, for it to be a bit, because Ward can move a crowd too. No disrespect to Ward. It's just how much respect I have for Twerk on big stages. So you're still going to have a factor of a lot of people in the crowd, but not too much where it's almost super advantage Twerk. So many different things. Think they're going to have a very good dialogue, mixture of angles and punches, different approaches. I just think Twerk and Ward is going to be very special, the best version of what it can be, and that's why it's in the top 3 for me. And then you get into the top 2 battles, and at number 2, I have Ilmac versus Real Sick. And I talked about this one a little bit as well. And this is also one that's more of a grudge match, but from a competitive standpoint. I know that Sick's kind of like throwing stuff out there about how when you meet he's not his idol, because when you get to the point in battle rap, you get to where all the legends are and you realize that they're actually cornier than they are. He's kind of talking spicy a bit, which I like, even if it's kind of like fake promo in a sense, sell the fight. But I think this one is going to be more about the skill set than it is any personals, anything like that. And with this one, while Twerk and Ward is kind of a war of different skill sets, Ilmac and Sick is a war of the same, and I think that's what's going to emphasize both of their strengths, right? I think both of them are great rappers. You're going to hear me say syllable structure a lot, and that's my way of saying very good writers, but not in the traditional, like just scheming a million times, censor their references, although they are good at that too. We're talking about a legend in Ilmac and one of the best alive right now in Real Sick, but they are going to rap their ass off. There is going to be a litany of angles. It's going to be an angle-heavy and rap-heavy battle more than anything, with a mixture of all types of wordplay in between. And I love this battle because I think it's going to bring the best out of Ilmac, who not too long ago had a great performance versus Rum Nitty, no matter how you call that. But Geechee Gotti battle, thought he took an L, right? He was decent, thought he took an L. Sharon battle, pretty decent again, definitely took an L in that one. So I think he's kind of coming off a bit of, not a streak, I think you would need 3. I have it 3 losses in a row, but there's definitely a debatable battle in there. So however you chop it up, Ilmac is someone that losing, or even debatably losing, doesn't happen very often in his career. So for him to come off of 2 L's, I'm expecting him on one of the bigger cards that you're going to see. That's going to be motivation enough. Plus the opponent, they've both been calling each other out, and Real Sick has been demanding of Ilmac. And sometimes chasing people like that doesn't always work out. But when someone's demanding of a battle, like I really want that guy, win or lose, I want to hear what he has to say. So I think it's going to be one of the best battles on the card. I think it fits like the card perfectly. It is a bit of a mega-ish announcement. Super stoked to see what Ilmac and Real Sick have. And number 1, was there ever really a debate? Rum Nitty versus Daylight. There's going to be so many videos to have about Rum Nitty versus Daylight. A little weird. I guess not weird. I would like to see Daylight do a little bit of promoing himself, but these are 2 guys that aren't heavy on the promo traditionally. It's 2 of the few guys that I would say, although Daylight, it's more by antics, but a big reason they've gotten this large stature is simply because of writing. It's not a lot because of what's done before the battle or doing like these long promos or something like that. Obviously, Daylight's a little bit more animated, a lot more animated with his theatrics and his antics than a guy like Rum Nitty, but it's a war of just some of the best bar-for-bar battle rappers that we have. It's the return of Daylight. It's Rum Nitty coming off of the Lux battle and coming off a run of, his prime. I still think that he is in his prime, but he's been at this for a minute now. There's not many big battles out there for Rum Nitty left. We're almost running up to the end of matchups. We're talking about a guy with a top 5 to 7 resume ever. So they're meeting kind of at the top of the mountain, how they always kind of hinted they would. And I just can't wait to see. I think Houston is perfect because Houston appreciates bar-for-bar material maybe more than any other crowd. I think 500 is perfect because it's not going to be such a big crowd that they're going to stop them every bar and fuck up the battle or the pace of it. But enough that there should be the challenge of a crowd with a battle like this. Some people would argue a battle like this has to happen like an empty room, right? And I think empty room battling is a bit of a handy, like as much of a hand-holding type of situation. It's great for some matchups, but it's about crowds, man. Even if it's just a little 100 people, 50 people, like a volume, like you want to see how the energy is received in the building, right? MCing is about moving people, as much as it is about the writing itself. So you're going to get the best of the writing. You're going to get the best of the crowd interaction and what they can do. I just think it is a special situation for this battle, and one that this card has to walk away with a classic. There's just too many good battles on here, and that's saying a lot. I don't even think we get a classic every year, mostly every other year. But if there is any battle that I had to predict on here that would be a classic, although a few have that chance, I just think Rum Nitty and Daylight is there, plus 6 months prep, pretty much confirmed from the league. There's no reason for this to not be an incredible instant piece of battle rap history. So that is my full thoughts for the top 5 battles I'm most looking forward to from TBL on Apollo. And obviously, when we talk Nitty Light, Ilmax Sick, and Twerk and Ward, it's not hard to tell that those are the biggest battles. Those are going to be the most exciting for most people here. But I love Jay the Nightwing versus Ill Will and Pass versus Eunice. It's very interesting to me. They're all interesting, obviously. You're interested in the battles, but those two are like, I just don't almost know how to call the winner. There's so many different elements that come into it, different things going on here, and how it could add to each of those battlers' years going forward. And then you go to those honorable mentions. They still have stuff like JC versus Madflex, Official versus Chirac, and I didn't even mention battles that I've talked about, like Jazz versus Hollow, Chilla versus Averb, and so many more that are going to be on this card. But you guys let me know now in the comment section down below. You've seen the full card. I want opinions about all of it. What battles, you could talk about the big ones that were already announced, I've done videos on, right, the main events, but what battles do you love most from the card, especially that got revealed once they dropped the full flyer? Which ones are you most interested in? What do you think battle of the night is going to be? Even though it's 2 nights, right, but what do you think battle of the weekend, I guess I should say, is going to be? I feel like that might be the toughest question with so many talented artists in such a situation for success. I feel like TBL has set the plate perfectly, where now it's up to the rappers to rap fantastic, and that's the only thing that will determine now. It's an all-time event on paper, and if these guys perform like they should, it's going to be an all-time event once everything's set in motion and executed as well. So I want to hear all opinions on the TBL card in the comments down below. Expect tons of content on this card going forward, but it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.